New at 5 for you, the Toledo Lucas County Public Library System is hoping to add a new branch in South Toledo. This is part of the library's solution to funding cuts after the board voted to close the Toledo Heights branch last week.
Megan Hartnett joins us live tonight. Megan, where is this new branch expected to go?
Library officials are going to the Plan Commission next week to try and get this property rezoned. It's on Detroit Avenue near Glendale. They're hoping by putting a new library on these 15 acres that they'll better serve the community and be financially responsible.
The Toledo Lucas County Public Library is facing a $2.8 million deficit going into 2026.
We floated a deficit this past year in part because we were not sure where the public library fund was going to land.
40% of the library system's operating budget is funded through the Public Library Fund. In the state budget, this fund has been a percentage of the general revenue, but this year, the General Assembly and Governor approved a state budget that moved it to a line item allocation. Library officials say this has resulted in a $25 million decrease in funding compared to last year. State Representative Josh Williams says this wasn't a cut, rather a stabilization of funding for libraries. He says this is an allocation issue.
At the same time that they're shutting down these branches, they're also building brand new libraries on Alexis and in other locations that are more modern. This is a choice of where they want their funds.
But Jason Kuchma with the library says money being used to build new branches and renovations is from a fund separate than the operating budget.
I believe that Representative Williams was conflating the fact that our library recently received support from our community members to issue $153 million in bond work, which is allowing us to do capital work throughout the entire system.
Kuchma says the lack of state funding and inflation is what led the board to close and consolidate the Toledo Heights branch with Heather Downs and build a new one.
For us, it's really about making the smartest decisions about using public taxpayer dollars that we've been very fortunate and privileged to steward, and so we want to make sure that we're putting these dollars to the best use.
The library is also reducing hours at 5 branches, and layoffs are a possibility. Other library systems are feeling similar pains. The Wood County Public Library is eliminating 3 staff positions that have been vacant since this year, and the Findlay Hancock Public Library has announced it no longer will be providing access to the digital resource Hoopla.
Kind of reaching the limits of what we can just absorb with some cuts to the funding that will be coming in, and it means we've got to make careful choices about what we're going to be able to do in the future.
The Toledo Heights branch is closing in January of 2026, and the Heather Downs location is going to stay open until a new branch is built. Library officials say the goal is to have a new library built at this location by 2028. Reporting in South Toledo, Megan Hartnett, WTOL 11.